I cleaned my hair this morning. That's why it's looking so retro.
Yo, watching out for Daddy. Hey, that's my dad.
So it's Monday the 13th of April, the beginning of the third week of our now 5-week South African lockdown. And this means it's the beginning of my 5th week of lockdown out of 7. And for some weird reason, I woke up fairly early this morning and felt kind of good. And I think one of the reasons why I did feel kind of good was I got to sleep earlier than normal. Instead of going to bed at 1 a.m., I went to bed at 11 p.m. and I think those 2 hours make a big difference. But also the other reason why I think I am feeling really good this morning was because we actually had a really good day yesterday. It was Easter, and we normally spend Easter with all our extended big family, and it's a big thing, which is a lot of fun and very important, and we love spending time with our families. But this was the first time that Julie and I and the boys were forced to celebrate a big holiday just with the 4 of us. And we were a little bit nervous about how it would turn out, but let me tell you, it was actually kind of great. Now, this isn't comparing it to the kind of time we would have had with our extended family, because I think that's comparing apples with oranges. That's really good to spend time with people who you love and people who you are close to. And this was really good quality time with like your inner circle. Plus, we made a delicious Easter lunch. Like, Julie managed to find a leg of lamb and she went to town on that bad boy. In fact, it was so good that we have at least half of it left over. Then we added a really nice salad to that, and some amazing gravy, and my contribution to all of this was the roast potatoes. And the reason why this was my particular area was because I love potatoes, and I especially love roast potatoes, and I especially love my mother-in-law's roast potatoes that she makes every Christmas. I decided I was going to try, and let me tell you, I nailed it. Those potatoes were amazing. So good. So good. In fact, they were so good, I'm going to make them again today. We still have half of the lamb left. We still have most of the salad left. All we need now are those delicious potatoes. So I think it's time for Easter lunch part 2. This time we mean business. And yes, I know this is a channel about fatherhood and parenting, and it's definitely not a cooking channel, because I, A, can't really cook that well, and B, I can't take this awesome photos and videos that make the food look extra delicious. But what I can do is talk you through how to make my mother-in-law's most amazing roast potatoes. Eli, what are you doing? Eli, it's freezing outside and you're playing with cold water. Did you paint your trunkie?
No. It was always green. Yeah?
What's up?
Nothing.
Should I make my potatoes again?
I have no idea.
Did you like my potatoes?
Yes.
Were they yummy?
Yes.
Were they
Nice and crunchy.
Okay, so the first thing you need when making the perfect roast potatoes is your cell phone and some Bluetooth earphones, because you're going to get your favorite YouTube channel, which should be youtube.com/AfroDaddy, obviously, and you're going to watch my videos while you peel the potatoes. Now for this, medium-sized potatoes are pretty good, and you want to cut them in half, so kind of like this. 2 things to think about when you are peeling potatoes. One is you want to keep it in a bowl of water to stop it from going brown while you're working with it. That's just a tip for someone who's never used potatoes before. And the other tip is that the potato skins are really good for composting. So make sure this goes into your compost heap. And if you don't have a compost heap, make sure these are the start of your compost heap. This is my mom. Mom, say hi.
Hi!
She's being very safe. Yes, this is the new way I communicate with my mother. Although I don't normally communicate with you anyway, so it's better than what we have.
It's a jungle treat.
Okay, so while my mom says goodbye to the boys, it's time to put the potatoes in boiling water. So this is an essential step because you don't want to over boil the potatoes. They mustn't be like soft and mushy, but they just kind of have to be cooked a little bit, like halfway through. So you still want them to be solid and hard, but kind of soft on the outside. Just maybe be a little bit careful when you're throwing the potatoes in there. Okay, so I'd say you leave them in there maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Definitely not longer than 10 minutes though. Eli, where are you?
And a bunch of questions.
So after about 10 minutes of boiling, strain those potatoes. Once you've done that, let them cool down a bit because you're going to be holding them in your hands, and these are some hot potatoes. For this next part, you're going to need your boiled but cooled down potatoes and a fork. And of course, your Bluetooth earphones and your cell phone. But this time you're not watching a YouTube video from youtube.com/Afrodaddy. You're going to be listening to the Ask Afrodaddy podcast, which you can find wherever you listen to podcasts or on AfrodaddyOnline.com. Either of those two, it doesn't matter. Just find it somewhere. Search for Ask Afrodaddy podcast and it'll pop up. This next part's really simple. You're going to want to basically score just the edges of the potato. You want just like little ridges all around the potato. And this is going to help it be super crispy later. Okay, so now I've scored all the potatoes. They're kind of looking nice and white and fluffy on the outside, and they're ready to be fried. Here's the fun part, and also the part that can be just a little bit dangerous. You need a pot of super hot oil. So 2 liters of oil should be more than enough. And at this point, I'd like to just remind everyone about how very, very, very unhealthy this is. Of course, the best way to check if your oil is hot enough is just simply to put your finger in there. No, don't do that. That is a joke. Please, please, that's a joke. The best way to do it is to take a little bit of the shredded potato that you might have left over, like, I don't know, like that little tiny piece, pop it in. It's bubbling, so should be ready. I know a lot of people might just take the potatoes and put it in by hand. That freaks me out because I'm so worried about the oil like bubbling and popping back at me that I'm using Bright Tongs. See, you don't want to do that. That popping, dropping, that's a bad time. If you drop it in, the oil might splash back onto you, and oil burns are really no fun. So please make sure you do this gently and carefully and safely. Speaking of safety, I am super paranoid about hot oil and kids. So while I'm doing this, while this is on the stove and the oil is even vaguely warm, the kitchen is a no kid zone. No running around, no coming to say hello, no coming to ask for juice or for water or anything, because I want the kids as far away from this boiling hot oil as possible. Okay, so you're gonna leave that to fry in that oil until the potatoes are like lightly golden brown. You're not gonna cook it until it's dark brown just yet, because that's coming later. While this is happening, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that you need to go to AfrodaddyOnline.com and subscribe there to get all the new... Sorry, you just walked through my shots.
That's okay. Keep going.
No respect for the arts of vlogging. You need to subscribe to AfrodaddyOnline.com because that's where you're going to get all the newest and freshest and most amazing and wonderful Afrodaddy content. And that's also a great way for you to get the newsletter, which... this family's crazy. The newsletter is really cool because it really is a little bit more personal and intimate and tells you a lot more about what's going on in the home and in our lives. It's a little more of a diary that I'm letting you read, which is kind of weird to do, but hey, I like doing it and you might like reading it. The other cool thing about the newsletter is that I am always adding in more tips and advice about how I do all the things that I do. So how do I vlog? How do I podcast? How do I write? How do I collect content? How do I deal with all the stuff that comes with running a website and a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, an Instagram account and a podcast in the way that I do? Right now, I'm working through how to start and keep your podcast going. So everything from the tools that you need, to the questions you have to ask yourself, to how to edit, all the initial basics that you would need to get your podcast going. I'm putting into the newsletter, and I'm not putting it anywhere else. So if you want it, you need to subscribe, and you can do that by going to AfroDaddyOnline.com. My wife really doesn't want to be in this video, but she's so pretty. She's so pretty.
It's a sweet.
Hey Liam, what are you eating?
Sweets.
Why are you eating sweets? Ah! Ah! Okay, so after about 10-15 minutes, they're gonna end up looking kind of like that. You're gonna get them out of the pot and onto some tissue paper or some carton roll or some napkins just to drain some of that oil away. So what's gonna happen now is you're gonna let these drain for a bit. You're gonna let them cool down to the point where you can hold them without having to your fingers. Once you got to that point, here's the secret part, and here's why it's extra unhealthy. You're gonna put them back in the oil. That's right, you're gonna fry them up again for another 5 minutes, and then take them out, drain them again, and then you do it a third time. What do you think about my potatoes?
Very good, my love. Well done.
Yes! Can I get a kiss for them? Mm-hmm. Passion.
You're watching Afro Daddy. Hey, that's my dad.